Did you hear from him yet? Not yet. He's not responding to calls or emails. Isn't that strange? Disappearing without a trace while leaving a child behind. One day, my husband suddenly disappeared. I think we should contact the police because something might have happened. You shouldn't do that. The police aren't free. And if there's a big fuss, your brother might not be able to come back even if he wants to. Really? And then, 2 days after my husband's disappearance, an unbelievable truth came to light. My name is Jessica. I'm a 32-year-old working housewife, living with my husband, Edward, who is 2 years older, and our 5-year-old daughter, Lily. I work full-time as a regular employee. Edward also adores our daughter, Lily, very much. Suddenly, I had to go on a business trip over the weekend, so I had to leave Lily with Edward. In the midst of this, an incident occurred. I received a sudden call from my younger sister, Marie, who lives at home and doesn't usually keep in touch. The police took custody of your child. A sudden call from my sister at home while I was on a business trip. For a moment, my mind went blank with shock. Lily was safe, but my husband should have been taking care of her while I was away. Why did this happen when I left her with him? I tried calling my husband several times, but couldn't reach him at all. Where did he go, leaving our precious child behind? I started to worry that he might have been involved in some kind of incident or accident. The police contacted our home because they couldn't reach you. Lily was left with Edward. It's unthinkable that she'd end up in police custody. As I was pondering over this in my head, what were you doing all this time? I snapped back to reality at Marie's accusing tone. I was in a meeting and didn't notice the calls. Is it really Lily who was taken into custody? Yeah, Mom went to pick her up from the police station just now, and she's at our place. Luckily, it's nearby, but if it weren't, I don't know what would have happened. Why did this happen? Lily was supposed to be with Edward. When I went on my business trip, I entrusted my daughter's care to my husband. He had agreed to it. By the way, where did he go? I can't reach him and I'm really worried. Marie asked me this, and I tried to contact my husband too, but the phone read Jessica'd unanswered and the messages unread. Where could he have gone, leaving our precious daughter behind? I want to go back home immediately, but I have an important negotiation coming up, so I can't leave my business trip location right away. Fortunately, Marie, who had just quit her part-time job, seems to have a lot of free time and said she'd spend time with Lily. So, I decided to ask her to take care of Lily at home for 2 or 3 days. When I asked about Lily's condition, she said, she's happily eating donuts and playing. Donuts? And she says she ate 2 of them. It seems strange, but I decided to focus on work to return home as soon as possible and told Marie to take care of my daughter. The next day, while I was at work, I received another call from Marie. Have you heard from him yet? No, not yet. I wonder what's wrong. I'm worried, so I'm thinking of consulting the police. No. Even the police aren't free, and if there's a big fuss, your brother-in-law might not be able to come back even if he wants to. While fanning my anxiety, she tells me not to tell the police. I couldn't grasp Maria's true intentions when she suddenly started saying something absurd. Hey, don't you think things between you two aren't going well? What's this all of a sudden? That's why he left, abandoning the child. Edward adores Lily so much. He wouldn't do something like that. When I denied it, she continued with things like, maybe there's another woman or you should divorce for his sake. And she even started meddling in my work. Anyway, leaving a 5-year-old child with your husband and going on a business trip isn't something a mother should do, you know? Edward agreed to it too. And you're unreasonable too, sis. Wouldn't a normal mother finish work and come back if she heard her child was taken into police custody? But you told me to focus on work. Well, even if she said that, if I were a parent, I'd fly back. Your cold attitude might be unbearable for Edward, you know? For some reason, Marie was smiling triumphantly. Puzzled by her sudden support for Edward, I hung up the phone. Furthermore, the next day, I received another call from Marie. Hey, Edward wants a divorce from you. Got it. You're with Edward now, aren't you? Tell him I feel the same. Well, Marie started to panic, but I continued with a firm attitude. Marie, where are you right now? I'm at home, playing with Lily. That's strange. I'm also at home with Lily. Huh? I mean, I'm with a friend. We're on a trip. I don't know Edward. Then why did you lie about being at home? Actually, I had explained the situation to the company yesterday and finished work to come back on the last flight. When I got back and wanted to discuss Edward with my family, Marie wasn't home. And according to my mother, she hadn't been home for 2 days. Maybe because you'd feel more at ease that way. Well, it's hundreds of times more reassuring to have Mom looking after her than a liar like you. Why did you even lie about something like donuts? Huh? Donuts. Lily hates donuts. You should have said something like cake, something a child would like. I'll be you, Belle, but I like them. I don't know your preferences. Besides, isn't that Edward's favorite? And Edward, you're there, right? That's what Lily said. Huh? You believe what a 5-year-old says? No matter how responsible Lily is, she's still a child? Certainly, a 5-year-old's words may include lies or fantasies, so they're not entirely reliable. However, I had an ace up my sleeve. Actually, when I got back yesterday, my daughter was playing with a smartphone. Mom, listen. I recorded it. When I listened, I was surprised. I have evidence. I gave Lily a deactivated smartphone. She can't make calls, but she can use other functions, so she's playing with it like a toy. Right now, recording is Lily's thing. She's putting her own singing voice in it. There's a recording of when Lily was playing, and it captured you talking on the phone with Edward. But the person on the phone could be anyone, right? Edward says he really loves Marie, though. Marie isn't an uncommon name, so it's just a crazy coincidence. Oh, and there was also a line about breaking up with Mai. Isn't it such a coincidence that it's the same name as mine? After saying that, Marie fell silent for a while, and then suddenly started pleading in an exaggeratedly distressed voice. I'm not to blame. I didn't want to betray you. Edward San approached me. Does she really think that excuse will work? And besides, at this point, who made the first move doesn't matter at all. It was clear from the recording with the note 3rd anniversary of dating that he had been cheating for a long time. But right now, I absolutely won't forgive the two who put my 5-year-old daughter in danger. Marie believed Edward's words that Lily can stay home alone, so it's okay, and they went out to play, leaving our daughter alone. Lily was left with just $10 and abandoned at home. Hungry, she clutched the money and went outside alone. But not knowing where to go, she stood there helplessly until, fortunately, a policeman happened to pass by and spoke to her. Thank goodness, she was safely rescued. But what were you planning to do if something happened? I didn't think Edward and I would end up in trouble with the police. When there was a call from my mother to Marie while Edward and I were together, he said he was surprised. When asked why he didn't immediately go get Lily, he said he didn't want to be scolded by my mother and me, so he couldn't go pick her up. What kind of reason is that? So, I pretended to be at my parents' house to keep you from coming back from your business trip as much as possible, and we were discussing our future together. What were they trying to discuss when it was certain it would eventually come out? I'm too stunned to say anything. Marie apparently didn't think Edward was such a coward and seems quite upset that he's not reliable at a time like this. Actually, Edward can't fight with even cockroaches and is the type to hide alone during earthquakes, abandoning his family. But he's still Lily's father, so I had intended to stick it out with him. Until this incident happened. With this, any trace of affection for Edward has vanished. That's it. I'm giving Edward to you. No, I don't want him. Oh, ain't I a useless wife? You said, I feel sorry for Edward, please divorce him? I thought if I said that, you'd blame yourself and get a divorce. Then it's just right, isn't it? I don't want him. I want someone more manly. It's surprising how quickly she changes her tune after deceiving me for 3 years. I'm sorry for betraying you, everything. Please forgive me. It was unexpected for my proud sister to apologize so earnestly, but I understood the intention of the apology from her words immediately after. So please, don't ask for alimony. I'm disgusted. How can you make such a request? I won't see Edward again, so please. Even if he paid it back now, I'd still be in trouble. While the two of us sisters are arguing over Edward, the man himself has been trembling in a corner of the room, muttering, "What should I do?" It's really pathetic. So pathetic, just kick him for me. We're sisters, just forget about it, and let's get along from now on. What nonsense is she talking about? I don't want to see Marie's face or Edward's face anymore. When I say, "I don't want to see your face for the rest of my life," she wonders what I've misunderstood and asks if I ever come home to my parents' house for the vacations. Do you think Mom will keep you at home like this? Marie seemed very flustered, as if she had thought she could continue living with her parents forever. Of course my mother is furious and is packing Marie's things into cardboard boxes in her room. When I told her about it, she immediately begged me to stop. Furthermore, even my dad is really angry and says they're never stepping foot in our house again. Oh my God, Dad, please. Marie was surprised, but I told her firmly, "Don't think you'll get off easy after stealing your sister's husband." What should I do now? Why don't you just live happily with Edward? I'll gladly give you that piece of trash. I said I don't want this trash either. There's no point in this back and forth with trash like this, so I just expressed my intention to divorce anyway. Then Marie said, "Even if I'm kicked out, I have nowhere to go." She's 30 years old and still a part-time worker without a steady job, so she won't have anything left when push comes to shove. She's always talked about catching a rich guy, but the reality is far from her ideal. She ended up with Edward, a scumbag. I think they suit each other perfectly. When I asked why she did such a thing, her answer was it a sense of taboo? I got excited and couldn't resist when I thought it belonged to someone else. That's such a ridiculous reason, no matter who hears it. She came crying to me after being kicked out of her parents' house, but I'll never forgive her for the rest of my life. Despite Marie's storm of apologies, I told her to send Edward the already filled-out divorce papers rather than making shallow apologies. You two really deserve each other. Have a nice life. With that, I blocked Marie's contact information. According to what I heard later, the two of them, expelled from their parents' homes, rented a small apartment with what little money they had, but Edward's cowardice, causing him to run out of the house crying whenever cockroaches appeared, pushed Marie to her limit, and their cohabitation ended in just 3 months. Marie, now living alone, works part-time during the day and night to pay me alimony while living in a rundown apartment. Edward, cutting down on food expenses for alimony and child support, has become painfully stolen. Happiness never lasts, does it? Edward's parents were very nice people, so even now, they occasionally play with my daughter. My daughter was quite shocked by the fact that her dad left her, and she says she wants to see her grandparents in the future, but she absolutely doesn't want to see her dad. I respect my daughter's feelings, so there won't be any more meetings in the future. Since then, I've returned home and balanced work and childcare with the support of my parents. I'm truly grateful to my father and mother,